a regular meeting of the Kaufman County Commissioners Court. Today is Monday, June the 13th. It's 9 o'clock, and we'll begin here just in a few moments. Welcome to the meeting. If you have any item on the agenda that you wish to discuss, there is a form that is labeled that's attached to the agenda, I believe. And you can fill that out and give it to the sheriff, and he'll present that to us, or present it to the clerk. And so we'll be good to go in that regard. So in that regard, I've asked Commissioner Shane to give our invitation. So if you'll join with me, we'll talk.
Good morning, Brother Clay. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we just come to you again today and just always thank you for your many blessings. We just ask you today to bless this court as we survive county. We just ask you also to be with our soldiers that are in harm's way. We also ask you to protect our firemen and our policemen that are and send them home each day also. We just also thank you for the rain that you have given us again. We just thank you so much for allowing us to live in this free country. We thank you. Ask your son's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move right on the routine correspondence. I don't believe I have anything listed or on the item for routine correspondence. So the consent agenda, item number 2, 4 items to discuss and consider accepting a financial statement of the Kaufman County Emergency Services District number 5. Also discuss and consider approving a bond of Jason Johnson as the constable of precinct 2. C is to discuss and approve a project agreement with the city of Maybank to grind parking lot in the amount of $375. D is to discuss and consider a project agreement for repair of Trump Street in the city of Crandall. And you should mark out the Mirror Company. Mirror Company is not a part of this. And the city of Crandall to pay for repairs. And then item D is to discuss and consider approving an interlocal agreement between Kaufman County Precinct 1 and the city of Post Oak Bend for road maintenance. Gentlemen, do you have any questions or any items that you'd like to discuss?
Just want to make sure you got a interlocal agreement.
Yes,
I just got one question.
Okay.
Shouldn't we be asking all of our emergency services districts to turn in a report?
Yeah, and I've got Steve Steve here. I think he's our liaison with them, and I don't know where we are. I know you were, I think, working on that, I believe, Steve.
Yes, sir, I am working on it, but if it would stop raining, it would help me get that accomplished faster.
Okay. All right. Any other questions about anything on the consent agenda? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Commissioner Phillips makes a motion. Commissioner Rosales seconds the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Item number 3 is a request from Constable Stevens to discuss and consider approving a deputation of, I know I'm going to mispronounce this, Elazar Carrillo Jr. as a reserve deputy constable for precinct 3. Is Constable Stevens here this morning?
Judge, I'm here he has been stepping in his place. His wife's going in for surgery this morning at the hospital.
Okay, so he's not able to be here.
No, sir.
Our thoughts and prayers will be with him and his wife as they enter into that. So, do I have a motion regarding item number 3? Do I have a motion regarding item number 3? for the third and final time, do I have a motion for item number 3? Okay, the chair rules that there was no motion made, so the item does not pass. Next item is item number 4 from Constable Johnson, to discuss and consider approving deputation of Jeffrey McNair to fill a vacancy for Deputy Constable Precinct 2. Constable, if you'd like to introduce Mr. McNair to us, he's here, I believe.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Morning, gentlemen, ladies. Mr. Jeff McNair with a very extensive background, Allen Police Department, started off as a regular officer, became a canine officer, and then moved into CID along with internal affairs. From there, he started working with me at the Dallas County Constable's office for a couple of years until he got hired on at the Dallas County Marshal's office as the assistant chief. Now, Dallas County Marshal's office is going through quite a bit of changes right now, and if you're not in the know with the commissioners over there, you don't have a leg to stand on. He's been there for 2 years. His chief is fixing to retire. They're bringing in their old new crew. He bailed out before he got a bad axe. He has an outstanding record, an honorable discharge from every department he's been with, and he'd be a huge asset to our department.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the deputation? I have a motion from Commissioner Phillips. Do I have a second? Commissioner Allen seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. There you go. Thank you very much. I believe you also had, while you're up, you also had item number 5. This is to deal with the approving deputation of Scott Whitworth as a reserve constable in Precinct 2.
That's correct. Scott Whitworth, as you know, used to work for the Kaufman County Constable's office. Scott Whitworth left Precinct 2 at the time. A lot of stuff was going on through Precinct 2. He came to work with me at the Dallas County Constable's office as well as one of my reserves. Was there for a couple of years before I took office here. He went to go work for the Dallas City Sheriff's Office. He is currently their sergeant over training. He got offered a position into the civilian side of it, making more money. He still lives in Forney, and he wants to maintain his license. And I am more than happy to bring Reserve Whitworth over because I can utilize him in our city. He knows the city, he knows our functions of our office because he's been here for several years. He has an honorable discharge from the Dallas City Marshal's office, as well as from the last elected official and from Dallas County Constable's office.
Okay, you hear this request from Constable Johnson. Do we have a motion regarding the same?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, but how many hours do they have to work?
My reserves are required to do a minimum of 12 hours a month, minimum of 12. But my reserves, they come in and do more than that. They go above and beyond.
That's 12 free hours.
Do you have a vehicle?
I do. I have an extra vehicle, and they come in and they rotate, and they help cover the course, they help cover civil process, and answer calls, and help road and bridge, absolutely.
Yeah.
They do every function that we do, they just don't do, they don't get paid. They come in and you want a job, you need to come in and do it.
Wonderful thing.
Yep. Okay.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Phillips. Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Commissioner Rosales seconds. All in favor say aye. Those opposed. All right, I point out on item number 4 regarding Officer or Deputy McNair, this fills a vacancy that you have in your department, so it's not an added vacancy.
That is correct.
One left, and this is his regular deputy.
Good. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you later.
All right, and next is item number 6 from Treasurer Mr. Oldfield, who happens to be a member of the Kaufman County Historical Society. And he's going to give us a brief, in capital letters, a brief update on the status of the Kaufman County Historical Commission as well as the Farm Museum. I believe you have an overhead for, not an overhead, but a PowerPoint for.
No, Judge, we're still working on technical. I have hard copies I'd like to share if anybody wants one.
Overheads, they can go around in here.
But I have recruited a friend who is a PowerPoint guru, and it's one of those click and shoot deals, I'm sure. I sent an email late on Friday. Does anybody need a sign? That's why we printed it. All right. First page is a list of the current Kaufman County Historical Commission members and ex officio members. The second page is the budget plan for the next 15 months. And we started with the format that for preparing the 2016-2017 budget. And I'm estimating that our fund balance at May 31st, according to the books, is $40,074. This excludes some money dedicated to a cemetery project. That money is excluded from the $40,074. The planned disbursements as we finish the year, the Historical Commission and the Friends of the Historical Commission are partnering on a project to have structural engineering completed on all of the existing buildings. The Historical Commission believes that its share of those expenditures will be $8,000. Our one-day-a-week person that's, I believe, required by statute will cost us approximately $2,000. And then we have a porta potty to provide sanitation for our visitors and volunteer workers. That'll be about $600 for that time period. So we plan to carry forward to the new fiscal year approximately $29,474. Based upon the budget proposals, the commission and the Farm Museum would be receiving a combined $13,600 for the new fiscal year, giving us a planned total funds available for 2016-2017 of $43,074. The commission has provided $6,000 to fund 3 different events that might take the form of an archaeology day, entering into a parade, or participating in certain festivals that might exist. We provided for a cemetery preservation workshop, office supplies, postage printing, records preservation. Surely we can get records preservation palmed off on the county clerk, but then again, maybe not. I hear she's busy. The salary and benefits burden for our part-time person, about $6,000. And then once the structural engineering is done, we will be able to have an architect begin the planning of the reconstruction of the buildings. The first building that the commission has determined is most appropriate for preserving is the superintendent's house, which is functional. By the time we get to this time next year, it should be more functional. And we will have gained a sense of how much private donation is going to be flowing in. Are the people that are volunteering materials and labor going to come through when the rubber meets the road? And we believe all that will take place. So the plan for the long term going forward is that we're doing structural engineering now. Once that's completed, we'll do the architect planning for the superintendent's house. Once the superintendent's house moves to the construction phase, we will at the same time be doing architect work on the second building that's prioritized. Once the superintendent's construction is completed, we'll begin construction on the second building, and at the same time doing the architect work on the third, so that we will, in a rational and consistent and constant basis, be rolling through the preservation of the buildings at the forefront. This is a unique situation. Based upon information given to me, Kaufman County's poor farm may be the only surviving poor farm in the United States of America. If we, as a county, and as a region, and as a group of people, can bring that to a usable state, it can be used for so many events and be a bright star, just as the Porter Farm on the north side of Terrell is the first ag demonstration that occurred in the United States. Our poor farm can anchor this central part of the county as being a historic part of the agricultural history of this country. And we included in the remainder of the packet is a plan that's been in existence since I saw a date that was 1998 on it. The commission is going to go through that plan again and update it. We wanted to give you some feel for the long period of time that the activities out there haven't been progressing perhaps as fast as you might have. And I want to tell you, we've got a great core group of commissioners that are actively engaged. They've created a plan. They've retained the professional assistance that we need. We've built the funds necessary to fund it. And then we'll come back to you folks next time, next year this time, with a positive, upbeat, constructive presentation of progress that is being made and a definitive plan for the future that we will be asking the Commissioners Court to fund. All reasonable because of the volunteer nature of this county. We fully expect so much of the construction and materials to be provided to the county on a donation basis. And then there's minutes of the meetings to follow up the packets. And are there any questions, gentlemen?
I've looked through the minutes, I was given previously. Have all of the current members on the board of the Historical Commission been appointed by the Commissioners Court?
Your Judge, all I know is that in January of 15, I believe, February 15, we had a swearing in. So I think that detailed question might be better answered by the official record keeper of the commission and then reviewing the Commissioners Court's records.
So you don't really know whether
No,
they've
so
all
that, that's not.
The swearing in, of course, is important, but the appointment before the swearing in has to occur.
So let us revisit.
If you would, I think that would be helpful. I've had some people contact me that are interested in serving on the commission, and so that's a good thing. But we just need to make sure that everybody that's on the commission is, has been appointed. And then also, I think we've had some people that have resigned from the commission, it appears here. And I'm not sure those have ever been sent to the commission, to the Commissioners Court, saying people are no longer serving. They've resigned or moved or whatever. So we really need to clean that up.
Yes, we've been doing so much cleanup work, Judge, and I think that's a very great point. And let me do that, and then when I make my treasury report in a couple of weeks, I'll be, maybe it would be appropriate to update that.
We just, it's kind of like these ESDs we have, and
ESDs, levy districts, there's so many boards and appointments.
Right.
And it's a great follow-on question, and we'll certainly get that done, Judge. Any other questions?
I said, he said the 98 golf course, said they received $1,500,000. And then you see, where all this money's gone.
We're trying to, we've rebuilt the foundation. We had to extract ourselves from an architectural firm that was not as responsive as the commission desired. And although those activities have been occurring in 2014 and 2013, and once we were able to get ourselves out of that situation, then we started on with a new professional firm. So I don't know all of the history, Commissioner, and if that's a real interest to you, we can, I'm sure, certainly get the records.
well,
Ronnie, do they have a set of bylaws? Is there a set of bylaws?
There must be a set of bylaws.
I'd like to see them.
and it would be good if we have a report from the Historical Commission occasionally.
Again, I certainly agree. I think there's so much more in
We're not being good over here, just that you find the history for us. We know you weren't involved.
Well, and it is, and I'm interested in the history.
Yeah.
And it's a great follow-up question, and Judge, I agree, as we get, and are active, I believe that once the engineering reports are in, that would be a great time to have a follow-on. Then once we get some information from architects, have a follow-on, so that it might be a totally event.
I think that would be very helpful to all of us. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. The members that are currently serving, if we find out that they have officially been appointed, not necessarily sworn in, but they can't be sworn in until they're appointed, and they may all have been. But I do know there's some interest across the county in helping and coming back. So, and I know you're not the president, you're the treasurer, but I think we need to have as much information as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
Since we're contributing some tax money towards it, obviously.
And that's why we, as a group, developed this detailed budget to kick off these meetings, Judge.
Okay.
But a letter from each one of them wishing to serve would be a good idea.
There you
Tell
go.
the judge, and at least that way we could make them.
Because I think what we're building toward is for the 2017, 2018 commission.
Oh, and I think everybody here wants to preserve it.
And again, I'm relying on the,
And you know, Steve too, it's not only just want to serve, I mean, be honest, it's serve, they just do something, some people have to keep that name on the list.
Right.
But he-
But I like, just like on every board that we have, them asking to be on that board and wanting to serve, and so we know who they are. Don't just come
So
up.
take up space.
And I'll ask Angie, we'll see if we can find the most recent copy of the bylaws that we have on file in my office, but they may have been amended, and we don't know that, so we just really professionalize.
we have a very capable part-time worker who is very energetic.
Yes.
And these will be things, just exactly what we're trying to get done, is get files rebuilt and get reorganized. So all of these things are there. I just don't want to speak on it.
I understand. Thanks very much.
Thank you all. Thank you, brief enough, gentlemen.
Thanks, Ed.
Appreciate your interest.
We lengthened it with our questions, but that's okay. It was a good discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Item number 7 is just an acknowledgement concerning the reappointment of the county auditor and the county purchasing agent effective June 10th, 2016, 2-year terms. You have a copy of those appointments, and Lisa and Karen are up and functioning, and congratulations to both of them, and they've been, I think, are working together very closely and doing what they should be doing at this point in time. Item number 8 is to discuss and update the county's consolidated 911 communication system operation agreement. And Rebecca, I believe you and Sheriff Burns have, we don't have a handout, but I think you have some information for us.
Sure.
You may have previously sent a handout, I think, perhaps.
Our office did not send out the contract. I'd asked their office.
Did we, I guess we did.
Yes.
We did, yeah.
Okay. So each of you guys have received a copy of the agreement at this point? Okay, no, that's fine. We can correct that. We'll get one out to each of you. Basically, today is just an update on the status of everything. Our offices work really closely together with the sheriff's office as well as the judge's office to put together the agreement terms to start communicating those and to send those out to each of the municipal partners that we're hoping to have in the system. So at this point, we've gotten out those agreements to each of those municipalities, and we're kind of putting into place this commentary period where we can take in any types of questions, specific negative or positive feedback in regards to different terms. And we also wanted to send those to each of you guys and then have either set an appointment time or answer any questions that you guys had on it. And I didn't know how the court wanted to necessarily deal with that commentary period. We can meet individually with people, or we can do committee style. It probably just depends on, once you get the agreements, looking into it and seeing how much feedback you've had. So we'll start with that over the next week, and we can have them out today. It's not going to be a big deal. If you don't mind, I'll send it electronic communication, the email, okay? There's a larger attachment that's referenced. It specifically is the description of our operational system, and I believe it's, correct me if I'm wrong, like 80 pages. It describes our technology that we purchased and what that looks like. And the reason why we wanted to include it specifically in the agreement was to be a description of the assets that the county owns, and then also for the municipalities looking at the agreement to know what exactly we're bringing to the table as far as how the system's going to work and what it's going to look like. So I don't know if you want that entire description of the operating system, but we can get it to you as well.
If they don't have it, which they may not, just go ahead and send them there.
Yeah, and we have a summary too of the system. I think that was kind of extremely helpful because it breaks down what you're going to find in a larger document. The contract itself is over 40 pages, so it's pretty comprehensive.
And it's been sent to all the entities, I believe, and I know now they have time to respond back with questions or comments at this point.
And I believe that ends maybe the first week of July. So if you've got any type of communications with your municipalities within your precincts and you're receiving questions, I just ask you to forward them to our office or the county judge's office so we can get back in a timely manner to everyone. We asked them a letter to send them directly to the county judge's office, so I'm hoping that's where they'll mainly go, but I don't want to miss any if they come up.
And one thing we're kind of running into a little bit is that some of us are getting this confused with the 911 call thing, so we're having to kind of do that. That's two different subjects, so we're having to kind of.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, they're certainly related, but they're different. So, by the way, and I've asked Randy and Steve to kind of coordinate to make sure that all of our smaller communities are notified of the 911 COG district, and we may be calling on you to help us with some of them this way.
Yeah, and on that point, I didn't know that confusion was occurring, so just be very specific with people when you're dealing with the small municipalities to differentiate between those two, because they are very, very different.
Yeah. And we've already had some that got it on the agenda. Some, I think, Kemp is already so approved, I believe, remember, right? Kaufman, I think, you guys have it on the agenda sometime pretty soon. I think Carol has it soon. But we've got so many other smaller communities that are not part of the 911 center that still have to approve it.
Yeah, so the confusion level shouldn't be
Yeah.
there, but I just don't want someone signing the creation of the district thinking they're entering into the
Yeah.
county's 911
So
system
Steve's in
agreement.
charge of,
Well, Steve and Randy, I've asked them to coordinate, and if they run into a problem with a specific community that's in your precinct, to get with you, and certainly any help anybody wants to volunteer, like, with any.
well, somebody's got to be in charge.
Yeah, and
And
that's
be
what
a
I'm
point
asking.
man, so if they have any problems, they need to contact us.
Right, that's exactly what I'm
We're
asking.
not going to interfere with their.
And Steve, Randy, y'all, this is one of those other assigned duties, y'all are graciously, I don't think you said graciously, but I know you agreed to doing it after asking. So, a number of, word that I got the other day from COG is they sent us a weekly update, and I'll forward that to you when we get it. I think the responses are coming very positive, very quickly, much quicker than we anticipated. Because the sooner that last entity signs, that's when the money starts flowing to the COG. Now, prior to that, the COG is working on an agreement, the management of that and the 911 center. So there's a lot of things going on at the COG level that has to be done too. But it'll probably take 2 or 3 months. But I sure hope that Kaufman County is not the last one to be able to get that in. So,
Do you guys have any questions?
thank you, Mr.
Actually, related to the Regional Communications Center, I know that in the past, we've done a lot of coordination and providing input and, with the Sheriff's Office and Tim specifically. What I understood you to say is, until July 5th, this commentary period, you'd like us to talk directly with your office?
No. So it depends on your question. If you're asking something from an operational standpoint, like when is the system ready, how soon can we get our employees there, how soon can Kaufman come on, That's your guy.
I'm talking about the review of the
The actual
interlocal
agreement. Okay, yes, that will go directly either to our office or to the county judge's office.
So you'd like us to communicate with you guys directly as opposed to the
I think it'd be the
sheriff's office?
fastest way, especially the.
I just want to be clear.
It's just, if it's a specific term about when can we start the agreement, that's the sheriff's office.
Sooner the better, in fact.
Yes, sir.
Legal question, to legal, and
Yeah.
all the rest.
Yeah.
Simplest way to do it.
All right, other questions about the 911 center? Okay, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you updating on that. Item number 9 is to discuss, consider leasing office space at the south campus to the city of Kaufman for a temporary city hall and authorizing the district attorney's office to begin negotiations concerning such lease for final action. So this is a preliminary discussion. We had a little bit of this last week when we were having our budget hearings, and I believe I've got a map here showing the areas that are under discussion. We don't have a total. Yeah, what is it? Here you go. Here's some extra copies. Mike, thank you for being here again this morning, but Randy, who is kind of the caretaker of the South Campus, has met with the city of Kaufman and looking at areas that they can use as a temporary city hall, not police department, but city hall, to operate while their new city hall and police station will be under construction. And so the areas that are highlighted in green are some of the rooms that we talked about out there. Randy, do you want to kind of talk a little bit about what you looked at? I know some of these rooms have materials in them that we're going to have to relocate. The city has helped us, has indicated. The city manager personally said he would help move some of the materials personally. Glad to know that.
The dark green areas are the rooms that are either currently open and available, or in my understanding, as soon as we find the storage for the district clerk records, those rooms will become available. The light green areas were questionable. Room number 18 on the right-hand side of the page upper, that will definitely become available. It's nothing more than office storage, and we can accommodate what we need. The other two areas that I was not sure about, we had to seek input from other people, is the IT storage area, that little narrow room, 8 foot by 21 foot. We'd have to, of course, visit with IT to see if that's even feasible. And the same for the voting equipment. I understand that they've relocated a lot of the voting equipment, and that room may or may not become available. The lighter green areas are the ones that are questioned, but all the ones in dark will be made available.
And just so you know, Mike, why don't you come up again? You have about 11 to 12 people, I believe, or 13 that you will probably need to relocate.
I know, keeps growing.
Does it?
Yeah, I do have a question about this. And when Randy and I visited and toured this area, the conference room up in the far corner and the break room would be common areas that could be shared, is that correct? So, I mean, we would have a need for a conference room for staff meetings and development services, review and plans and things like that. So, I just want to be sure that we didn't, I don't want this to go in with the idea that we can't use those particular facilities.
No, this is just very preliminary.
Got a break room where this will certainly accommodate the needs we have for administrative services, development services, engineering services, municipal court, assuming we can work out an arrangement with the existing CPS court that's there.
We have two, the CPS court and the AG court. And then once a month, I think we have what I commonly call the sewer court.
Yeah, it didn't appear that we would have much of a conflict at all. We meet, municipal court meets twice a month, so, yeah. I don't think that would be pose a problem, and it would certainly provide, the necessary space for the administration of City Hall operations.
And the other thing we discussed, when you were not here Thursday, whenever we talked with the mayor, but there'd be some signage that the city would be responsible for, directing people where to go, and so there's some details that are obviously going to have to be worked out. But I wanted this on the agenda so we could authorize whoever you have as a city to start working with our district attorney's office to figure out what a fair market value is.
And in terms of the lease, what we hope to be able to accomplish is be completely removed from the existing building we're in by October 31st of this year. And 15 months later, move into the lease. So it would be a 15-month lease, maybe a little bit longer because we may start moving in, over the summertime or something like that. Certainly don't want to disrupt anything the rain's got going on in that area. But
The city will be responsible for your phone system.
and our IT. Yes.
Any questions for gentlemen? We talked a little bit about this, Rebecca.
I have a question.
Okay.
As far as negotiating the lease, do you have, or maybe would the court consider placing someone like Randy or Ms. Huey in charge of those minor details that involve the use of the building and maybe the AG judge? Because I'm not gonna know those. And so I think to expedite the process, we may just base it on a standard commercial lease, and then you guys insert the finer details in there, and then if you send it over, it'll be a pretty quick process.
I think Randy's probably the most familiar person with it at this point in time. I know you just love these little extra jobs, but you are probably familiar with the building as much as anybody. Steve is too, but since he's moving there, he's not there as often as you are.
Yeah, we can, as far as the language within the contract,
Well, I
would
would,
be an
You
issue.
can do that.
I would just suggest a standard commercial lease, and then.
Describe the room, just by room number.
Exactly.
Because they are numbered, both of those.
And there will be parking that'll have to be designated for city employees and parking for visitors, constituents that come to the meeting. And I guess your city council members are meeting will be at the evening, probably in this courtroom.
I would think so.
Okay.
I've been in it once, but I can accommodate. Certainly, it's every bit as large as what we're using today. So
Well, we've had commissioner board member meetings out there, and it's a big room, and generally we have room to do it, but I mean, there's some devils in the details, of course.
I guess the other question I might have is, we would have certainly a desire to put some customer service windows in a couple of these front offices for the municipal court and probably development service, drawing permits and that kind of thing. And Steve had indicated that the one window that you got, you had a maintenance guy on staff who came in and did that. I mean, I would gladly pay that person to do that, or if you just, wanted to put a couple service windows in there, that would certainly work out for us.
In the interest of overall usage and to maintain security as best possible. Room number 2, that's the light green area on the bottom left side. That is currently labeled as voting. If that room does become available, that would be the optimum way to go. We could put a window out into the lobby, therefore the public would not have to enter.
Be less confusing for them.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to enter the back of the building.
And maybe, room number 26, don't need to. We'll see.
Okay. Questions? Rebecca, you kind of,
I
Yeah, that's,
You want to volunteer to help?
in my spare time, I'll let them know how much spare time.
Okay. That'd be good. Everybody okay with that? All right, I have a motion to, any other questions from anybody? We just need to get started on it because it's almost the 1st of July and, you know, football season's what, 90 days or not 60 days off, so it'll be here pretty quick, so that'll work. Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Rosales. Do we have a second? Commissioner Shane seconds the motion. All in favor say aye. Those opposed.
Yes, certainly appreciate you and Commissioner Stewart helping us out.
All righty, the next item on the next page is from Commissioner Shane. This is the annual road report. He has presented this. This will be placed on file and the grand juries, plus it will also be on our webpage. Commissioner, do you have any comments? Got it.
Instead of approving, I'll just accept it. Actually,
Okay, well, we'll move the floor.
Like we don't know.
Yeah, right. We accept
It's
it.
accurate. We don't know the precinct.
Okay. All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Shane to accept the 2016-2017 annual road report. Have a second from Commissioner Allen. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much. Item number 11 is from Commissioner Phillips to discuss and consider accepting the funded fiscal year 2016-2017 annual road report for Road and Bridge Precinct number 2.
I'll make a motion.
Since it's your precinct.
I accepted it.
Better take care of yourself.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Phillips. Do we have a second? Commissioner Allen seconds the motion. All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Item number 12 is from Laura Floyd, our HR director, to discuss and consider signing the Affordable Care Act reporting and tracking service known as ARTS, 2016 review of confirmation program agreement with the Texas Association of Counties. Mark?
This is the same program we signed up with TAC last year to help with our ACA reporting. It was a blessing. They did all of the legwork. I just gave them the data and they produced the forms, sent the forms out to employees, and just that it was so we're just renewing that agreement with it. It doesn't cost us anything, they just help us.
Okay. Any questions about that? It's free, but it's a requirement that we have.
And it's required by the IRS that we do the forms, and TAC has created this program to assist the county through the forms, so.
That win.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
this
very
one,
helpful.
we don't turn in late, but late has a price.
I don't turn in late, I promise.
I know.
Good.
We didn't incur any of these other costs last year.
Because anything, actually, we ended up saving money because they were going to send us the forms and we were gonna have to deliver them, the forms either by hand or mail, and they were still running so late, and said it was just a big task, and they ended up knowing it was for us, so I didn't have to do that last year, so.
Well, they pay the man.
What's that?
They pay for the man.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
We have,
Can't beat them.
We're doing great, she's doing a good job.
yeah. It's a blessing to have them, because there's been a lot to do.
That's a lot of good service.
Make a motion.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Phillips, and a second from Commissioner Gonzalez, that we enter into this agreement with Texas Association of Counties. All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Motion carried. Item number 13 is also from Ms. Floyd, to discuss and consider changes to the Kaufman County personnel manual.
So this is the same thing we brought up in workshop that we talked about. I sent it out to you all several times, if the policy manual ever got any critiques on any of them. So it's basically, the attorney's office has reviewed it, and it's basically just updating, our policy that we do every couple of years, so. We changed a few of them, we talked about it in the workshop, so.
It's the same thing that was in the workshop.
Yeah, and the only question that y'all had was the uniform policy, and Karen had looked over it, she didn't see any issues with it. The only that's gonna change, I think, is the way we use the uniforms with the sheriff's department. If you feel comfortable with the way y'all do it, it's fine, because we run all that stuff, so if it's any issues with it, I don't see any issues with it, so.
That being the uniforms that we currently get?
Yes.
Blue jeans, are okay?
Yes, they'd be okay to rent those, it's, yeah, we can be okay.
Okay, motion. Commissioner Allen makes that motion, and Commissioner Stain seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Item number 14 is also from Ms. Floyd. Discuss and consider application and project request form for risk control reimbursement program with the Texas Association of Counties. This is kind of an interesting program.
Yeah.
It's new, I believe.
It's very brand new, and I don't have anything to present to you, so, y'all can either pass it, that y'all can let the judge sign off on it, or I can bring it back next court. But, the plan right now, with this program is that we can get reimbursed from TAC, for anything that we do within the county that would form our insurance line items, whether that be workers' comp, property, auto, something to those effects, something that's gonna increase the safety or improve our property or something like that. So, I'm working with Bobby, the plan is actually to work on this through and to correct some of this with the windows, increase the security and stuff like that within the bridge program. So that's a plan of what we're going to apply for. The way the program works is that we have to apply for it, we have to have our application submitted by July 1st, so we're kind of down to the wire right now. And then once we apply for it, they will either approve or deny. If they approve it, then we can start work on it. If they deny it, we can still start work on it, but they're not going to pay for it. So, yeah, so, but I'm working with Bobby, he's trying to get me some numbers of what the cost is going to be, how much it's going to cost us, what all we need to do, and all those things. So, once I get it wrote up, I'll be happy to bring it back to court, but, my deadline is to make this in July 1st. I believe there's one court this weekend, so.
So we could delay action until you come back in a meeting on whatever it is.
Yeah, because she can
Prove it now, and that would come back.
And I'll be sure to send y'all a copy of what it is, and as long as y'all approve it, that is what y'all want to apply for.
All right, is there also money available for something at law enforcement?
Yeah, we got 20,000 in law enforcement, and I got nothing.
Sheriff, I don't know whether you were aware of that, but there are also some funding and $20,000 for anything, employee safety related, for the sheriff's department, and it could include the jail.
Yes, any type of, it has to be for law enforcement, we can get up to 20,000.
It's something we can use for body cameras
Well,
or new vests, stuff like
it
that.
can't be something that we're already doing.
Yeah, it cannot be for anything
But
that
it
we've
has to
already
be something
done.
good.
So if we need more body cameras, we can apply for it to get new body cameras, but we can't buy them and then expect it to reimburse us.
Right, no.
So if we need like 10 new ones after we get approved, then yes, we can do that. But we cannot get reimbursed for anything that we've already purchased.
Sure. So that will need to be turned in by the 31st as well.
No, July 1st.
First of July. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Bobby, very briefly, do you want to tell us kind of what your plans are to make this building a little more user-friendly and safer? Safer, we need to really emphasize safe. And it involves moving these windows and expanding this building to the east, I believe.
Yes, sir, we were talking about moving this, taking all these windows out, sealing all this in, and we're gonna move it out about 10 or 12, 14 feet out. And we're gonna put barriers up across the sides, where, you won't be able to drive into the side of the building.
Right.
As you can see currently, you can drive right through here. There's just a curb there that you can drive over and come right in. So for safety purposes, yes, that's what we're talking about doing. Removing windows, extending this out, putting concrete barriers up to prevent people from driving through.
Extend it out to the roof.
Yes, sir. And if we did that, we were talking about being able to move this to this side and then all this would be open space.
Make the build this room a little more usable, I
Yes.
guess is the best way to put it.
And it would help with the echo, because it gives you more windows.
Yeah, be more custom friendly,
Right.
And they won't give us the full amount, but anything they give us probably would go a long ways towards doing it. This is something that your department is probably kind of ramrod.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Laurie?
We can get up to 40,000.
Okay. 20,000 of it has to be for the
Law enforcement,
law
yeah.
enforcement.
So there's a total of 60,000,
Right.
40 for us, 20 for them.
Okay, gentlemen, what's your pleasure on these items? Commissioner Shane made the motion with the idea that we can go ahead and move forward with it, and giving the judge the authority to sign as soon as Laura gets everything sent out and we get the request from the sheriff.
It's more than the numbers I've got, I think it's boggling in, because I have to, with the application that I turned in, I have to tell you specifically what we're going to do, how much each thing is going to cost, or what we're estimating it to cost. So that's the main thing that we have to finish putting together. Then I'll get I will certainly do that, yes, sir.
And, I mean, this is a great thing, TAC, it really
This
is.
is the first year we're doing it, so we'll see how it works out.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Shane, we have a second from Commissioner Allen. Everybody understand what we're voting on?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, thank you very much, Laurie.
Thank you.
And next is to discuss and consider approving a contract and agreement for free adjudication residential services for juvenile offenders with Dallas County. And we have our chief juvenile probation officer here with us. And Laura, thank you for keeping us informed on this and being ahead of the problem, so to speak.
You're welcome. We discussed this in the workshop last week. This is just a contract for, we typically call this detention. We had been, as you know, using Hunt County. Hunt County's closed their doors. In the interim, we're using Van Zandt County. The difference in this contract and the Hunt County contract, the biggest difference is the Hunt County contract is a prepaid, flat rate. We purchased a certain number of bed days. Whether we use them or not, we pay for them. This contract is a pay as you go. We pay for what we use and no more. So the daily rate may be a little bit higher, but when you do the math, it's probably going to be about the same, yes.
It could be cheap.
Pardon?
It could be cheap.
It could be. Could be cheap.
Or could be,
Well, the sheriff won't press the juvenile, it'll be all right.
The juvenile board had a meeting last week and they approved this contract. But since this is between the counties, and it's a big change, we wanted to bring this to commissioners to go through this.
Well, I think it's a good thing to do. Yeah, pay for what we get. That's all I can less.
I'd rather be option two.
It is our only option. To be sure, Dallas County has plenty of space. And as I said in workshop, one of our number one jobs is to be sure that we can protect kids and protect the community, protect kids from themselves. So if we have a violent offender, we don't have a place to put them.
We're in charge.
So that's what the purpose of this is.
I'll make a motion to enter into this contract.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Phillips, a second from Commissioner Gonzalez, that we enter into this contract with Dallas County, and they'll start taking care of our juvenile probation folks that need to be incarcerated. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I need to get your signature on this. How can I do that? Could I get it now, or can I just take it over and leave it?
You just, if you wanna, you can just take it over and leave it. That would be the easiest thing.
Thank you so much.
I'm in the office all day.
Okay, thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
All righty, item number 16 is to discuss and consider Simplex Grinnell performing the GUI in the amount of $45,370, utilizing TexMass contract pricing based on TexMass, TexMass or whatever, -5-84070. Decent.
Yes, sir, this was brought to me by the sheriff's department, and the way it's been explained to me is this is an ongoing project, this is just another phase of an ongoing project.
This is the last actually of the upgrades in the jail. This is our original operating software when we came in out there. And, you know, we had to redo all the locks and the electronics, and it's now at the stage that it's not supported anymore, and we're obviously having trouble with the money we use. So it's just, that's what we had budgeted for that, so.
That's out of this current budget year.
Pardon?
This is the current budget.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, they talked about last year, we did the first half, and then the second half was coming.
Is this the final stage?
I think it is, Commissioner, yes.
Yeah, yes, the second half of the law. We did the first half last year.
So you got the locks fixed and they just.
Yes,
Fix the
this is
computers,
the,
like them talk.
this should, you know, get us all rejuvenated out there. For a while.
I appreciate it.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Allen and a second from Commissioner Phillips. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 17 is to discuss and consider awarding a bid for number 16-04, the annual contract for HVAC services. Lisa, I think you and Bobby is already working on this. Bobby, you want to come up as well, or Lisa, you can present it in case we have any questions. Bobby's like.
We only received 2 answers to the bid, obviously our current vendor and one other. And it has been, during doing the specs for this bid, it was indicated that more of a general maintenance, quarterly maintenance was needed to help maybe cut down on some of these expenses. Because from the way it's been explained to me, we have some older, equipment here. And it needs a lot more, upkeep. And this quarterly maintenance may help cut down on the major expenses. So maybe a little more upfront expense, but obviously, the current vendor had a little more, working knowledge as to what's going on in here. But one of the other vendors came in and really undercut his pricing. And I verified with that vendor stating that he understood what was going on and this is what he's willing to do it for. All I'm doing is giving you the numbers.
I think there's a huge savings here. It's just unbelievable how much difference there is. I'm glad that you went out and did your contract. And Bobby's helping.
Yeah.
So, county a lot of money.
It's gonna get us,
And longer life on what we have also.
that's right, and good. Good, Rick.
So do I have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Commissioner Allen makes that motion, Commissioner Phillips seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Thank you very much. Item number 18 is.
We need to, you say what contract, what vendor it is?
Pardon?
Did you say what contract, what vendor it was?
I didn't say what was
WR Precision Air and Cable.
I think that's necessary.
yeah, we should have included that, but they were the receivers. Okay. Now, item number 18 is to discuss and consider purchasing dump trucks for precincts 3 and 4 with the repurchase option through TIF Purchasing Cooperative. Contract number 02-102314.
This is basically the same thing we've done for about the last few commissioners' courts. It's just time to renew those contracts if we want to do the buyback.
Is this the same amount of people?
Yes, this one is. I think this other one,
I'm just
Commissioner
getting one.
3 had, did you just have one?
I just have one.
You had one and you replaced it once,
Yes.
so no change.
No change.
Only one.
The only person who had any changes, I believe, was you, and that was on the previous one, not this one.
How many on precinct 3?
Precinct 3, how many do you have on this
I
one?
thought it was good for.
4?
Is that right or wrong? I was just on the website, I'm gone blank this morning.
You have, it says precinct 3 will trade in 2 and buy 1, precinct 4 will trade in 1 and buy 1. So you do have a change.
Either way, the contract is, it says for one or more, so, yeah, whatever y'all decide, everything else.
Anything else?
Matters, I gotta get finance, so I need to know what we're buying.
Well, absolutely.
So you have 1 and 1.
Okay, do I have a motion? Commissioner Shane makes a motion, do I have a second? Commissioner Allen seconds the motion. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Item number 19, we're going to exit the meeting and go into an executive session concerning security. And what I'd like to do, I'd like for the 2 attorneys to stay in here with us, and then George York to stay here with us. And Sheriff, since this involves security, I'd like you to stay with us as well. So we will adjourn the meeting. I need a motion to adjourn into executive executive session by Commissioner Shane, and it's 10:02. Do I have a second? Commissioner Allen, we can take a break right now. All in favor? Just show the record that we came out of executive session at 10:33, and that motion was made by Commissioner Allen, seconded by Commissioner Shane, and passed unanimously. So now we'll move into item number 23. I'm sorry, number 22, discuss any action needed as a result of the executive session. I don't believe we had anything that somebody would like to make a motion. No action. All in favor say aye. We have a motion by Commissioner Allen and second by Commissioner Shane. All right, next item is item number 23, line item transfers. We were given copies of these last week.
Yes, and then I had an additional I gave you this morning.
Right.
Any questions on the line item transfers?
Anybody have any questions on the line item transfers? I'll entertain a motion to accept as recommended by the auditor. Motion by Commissioner Allen and second by Commissioner Shane. All in favor say aye. I mean Commissioner Pollock. All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Next item is discuss and consider claim for payment.
The claims for payment are $1,783,708.95. And that was about 3 weeks worth of bills, so.
And that also included some of the road bond.
Yes, sir. A lot of the insurances, because it's first part of the month, and road bond expenditures, road materials for precincts 1, 3, and 4, quarterly payment to the appraisal district, some equipment for precinct 4, indigent defense, equipment leases, fuel expense, and countywide cleanup.
I got a question. The small pack here.
What's the date on it? On the first page. Okay.
All right, on the second page, Justice fees, please. Travis. Yeah. Safety, please.
I'm not seeing it. Yeah, but we do pay that. Obviously, that, you have that budget, yes. That's because of the different travel during the different areas of the county.
Never mind, I found it. Looks like you went to. I got it here.
You got it? Okay. Yes.
The little package on 69, page 3.
On page 9.
Page 3. Oh, 69, Fund 10.
Page 3.
Yes, ma'am, at the bottom, the miles good lighting. You may not know the answer to this. Are those, when someone goes for a one-day seminar, do we give the $230 per diem? Is that part of the course, or?
$230.
That's what it's charged at for each one? I went to the same place, same night.
Yes, that's 1, 2, 3, well, not more, because that's the reimbursement to the bank. That is, your, Waco trip, and maybe some more. Was that the big packet? It's not. For 5 days.
Oh, that's awesome, one day.
No. It's for a conference.
Oh, okay, okay, got you, got it. That's cheap. On page 5, the same packet. That may be for a long time too. Training, 2,500 to 3,017. Is that for weeks, a week at a time? I'm sure that.
I've got a different page. Let me see.
Sorry.
Computer forensics. Yes, sir. That is different weeks.
Okay. Assume so.
Yes.
That's not, on the big package, say, 20.
All right.
The $5,600 control fund.
That's our,
Is that
that's
part
our,
of the contract?
yeah, that's our contract for medical.
We had some kind of transport. She already had.
No, that one is for,
People that work over there.
what you're saying.
Is
Is for a medical contract.
And then on page 32, we have some old attorney fees. There are 2 over there. Last calendar year.
Which one?
The third one down, Sharon Davis. It was looked like disposed of in 10/7/15.
Sharon Davis.
Then 4, or 3, the third item down
What do we agree on that, 6
Well,
months?
this is 16.
Yeah, remember the judge?
Unless-
That out.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last time, I thought we.
We talked about it, but we never talked about it with them.
Anything under a year, then we weren't gonna, get it right, but they, I think,
Brad Stevens.
Judge Blair said that they were gonna discuss it and try to write a thing.
Which
saying
one?
that they were gonna request that they be in 6 months.
Started going below that.
I researched this actually last time we talked about it. I went through, kind of what our policy is, and you guys are writing, I think it does say 6 months post the conclusion of the case.
Yeah.
But, the way that, and I kind of looked, cross-checked it with the counties and how they handle it. And versus not paying because of the liability that you can incur from that, sometimes what they'll do is they'll put people on either a warning period or have a multi-phase period where they send in notices and say you're in direct violation of our policies, you violated so many times, you're removed off our list kind of thing. Versus, inviting any type of litigation for non-payment of bills. And that's something, I sent that information to Judge Wood, to meet with the specific courts. That way, they could kind of, get a feel for how they wanted to process those things.
Yeah, my question would be, you know, is there anything, you know, keep track of it, whether we're Judge Blair or city, just ask them to turn in the bill. They don't get to necessarily see the bill, you know what I'm saying? So does anybody keep track of it for them, so that they know that these people are not turning in their bills?
They should be signing off on the bill when it's presented.
Yeah, like us, if you get 300 papers from your clerk and you say, you know, mine said it comes in and says, look, here's all the bills. Granted, I do really physically look at them, but you could initial one and not pay attention to the dates.
It probably needs to be more of a change of form, like where you have a date noted that the case is concluded and the date that the bill is submitted. And it should be more, it's probably part of it is a form where you have the information on that form that the judge can see. And also if that information is on the form and the attorney knows that there's guidelines to follow. I'm talking about
So that his clerk might point out to him and say, look, this man is going to this attorney right here. They decide to hold on to their bill for a year. Our concern, I don't have a real big concern if it's 10 or 11, 15, because this is still in our this budget year. But we had some last year, you were here, and they were a couple of budget years ago. Yeah, that's way out.
That's because you had two new judges came in and got things cleaned up.
Yeah, but I mean, and you know, I'm not, we're just trying to prevent it from happening again. It's not that we're beating anybody up.
If these judges don't realize that they haven't received the bill for a case for 6 or 8 or 10 months, how would they realize that when they get a bill, it's actually legitimate? They can get a bill a year old and say, you know, I don't know, unless they look that case up, like Steve said, if they don't look at every one and verify it, well then we could be paying bills that are possibly not legitimate bills.
It probably needs to be a better policy and some better form. So, can we say some different, maybe a different policy in a different form, so that there's some accountability as to determine how old the bill is?
Some type of tracking system. If they do 1,000 cases and only 800 of them within 6 months, well then.
There seems to be communication back to the judges, because I think at this point there's frustration here, but it hasn't been communicated back.
Usually when the bill is submitted to the judge, they pull the docket packet, all the paperwork, and it's attached to it for the judge to review. And if they are way late, usually that judge will slice through their amount and reduce the cost before he signs off on it.
Well, that's information we're not privy to, so.
Well, I see that information, so.
I guess the biggest thing I've always said is, you know, every lawyer I've ever worked with, when he does something, you get on 10 days, I have a bill.
He usually does it before he starts, huh?
Yeah, it's real strong around, I can't figure out
Money up front.
why these people are holding them. Yeah, I guess I'm lost. Have you ever worked for one that had you a bill for
Well, they can want their money pretty quick.
Yeah.
They got that sheet.
Yeah, it's
Let me
yeah.
ask, y'all, what about if this something Annette could do, our indigent defense coordinator? Could that be added to her duties, perhaps?
You know, I would just go back to that point about asking the judges. What kind of solution do they see?
Coordinators.
Those are submitted to each court's coordinator, their administrative assistant.
Okay.
And that's who pulls the paperwork for the judge to review before he signs off.
Maybe it just takes a simple little, maybe it takes just a simple little statement sheet that when they close the case, that the clerk hands to the attorney and he signs saying, you will receive my bill within 30 days.
Yeah, the judge needs to be able to have.
Because he should be done with the case. Once it's case over.
So,
And I think what happens a lot of times in the real world when this is going on is that sometimes you don't realize when a case is over. I mean, by that I mean, like there's appeals, there are other motions that come up. Sometimes it's not as bright of a line as you think, yes.
It's like when we buy something, we sign off on it, it's paid for.
Yeah, but if
There is also an instance where I reviewed a few of these this week for court that they were appealed, and appealed,
Well, I
and
get that,
finally they
but-
got dismissed.
Let me ask the attorney, when you appeal something, if I'm not correct, that's a separate bill. This is a separate
So,
case.
the way.
And even though it pertains to this case, that's separate. So when the hammer comes down, he says, you're sentenced to 3 years, now there's an appeal. You might even have to go get a different attorney, an appeal attorney. It might be a whole different.
That can be, what I think you just need to do is we need to make sure that we incorporate the judges and their courts in this process, so it's where you all are not paying things out of the budget year, or out of, where.
Well, that's all we worry about is
Exactly.
where our money is.
Yeah, so-
Where we work with Judge Chitty, I believe, is administrative judge, and the judges get together on sort of a uniform policy and procedure so that we're keeping everything in the years that it should be, and we're not having delinquent bills because maybe perhaps an attorney that went back and did paperwork for a year or so that they just.
They have more money than they know what to do with. They're waiting years.
Well, or sometimes they're overworked and they're small staffed and things slip through the cracks. There's a lot of different situations, so I think we should make sure you all are getting what you need so that you can approve as needed for the correct budget years. But we work with Judge Chitty, the administrative judge, and the courts trying to get a better process. And maybe we could work with Judge.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. Would one or both of you work on a letter or memo that you could send on behalf of the court saying that this, we need some help in trying to rectify this? And maybe they can kind of take that.
I'm not sure that, I don't know if it coming directly from the DA's office is like, this is a policy that we want put in place would be the best, sender. I think it would
Well, if
be
you will
better.
write me the
Yeah.
letter, I'll send it.
I'm just saying, because
Yeah, because it's a discussion we've had several times over the last several
It's not that we're trying to run their show.
Sure.
No.
We're just trying to run our money. And it's
And
kind
that's what
of
your
hard
church
to
would
do.
do.
And I just think there's a gap between the court and the judges that the judge is probably not even aware of.
Yeah, I will, if you will do that, I will make sure y'all get a copy of it, we'll send it. Okay. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Every one of these bills was signed off on by elected officials or department heads.
Or their person at the door.
I make a motion.
All right, motion made, Bill, have a second. Any other discussion?
Second.
Second,
Now I'll make a motion.
well, we just voted on this pay bills first. Bobby?
Yes, sir, before y'all adjourn.
Well, we had to wait on paying the bills.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we got a motion, I think we voted. All in favor, say aye. Before we adjourn, you.
Before we adjourn?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to all you guys before.
Not on the agenda.
It's kind of a
today,
sketch.
but,
Right, just,
okay.
basically what I was wanting to show you is kind of what we were talking about here with this.
Okay.
That's related to,
Yeah, we talked about it.
yeah, back to 17.
It's a legal thing, I don't think we discussed.
Okay?
Are you talking in reference to agenda item that's been
The
voted
safety
for?
thing?
And
Yeah, safety
you wanna talk
thing.
about
Yeah,
the
the
amount that you think it might cost in reference to that agenda item?
And exactly what it is we were looking at trying to do.
Talks about expanding this room.
Okay.
He was already
Lawyer
talking
says
about
we
it,
can
so
talk
it's
about
the
it.
same concept.
Right, for safety
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
And if you kind of see, let me turn my map right, it's kind of quick here, but as you can see, the room sets like this for what we was looking at doing was putting a conference room here in this corner, But when we expand this out 14 feet, or you would come in the conference room and access y'all's bench down the side. And then we would have room on the end, on that end, the attorneys and everybody set up as well. All this would be new wall
You want to move us this way?
onto this side. So basically what I was saying was like from here,
No, I don't want to be on that side.
he's supposed to stay.
I don't want to be on that side.
So,
I'm going to be the first one that does it.
you would be on that side?
I don't want to be in the parking lot side, somewhere else in the wall caves in.
Well, that's what I was saying, those parking spots right here will be gone. That's one way.
He's gonna put up barricades.
Out there, he's going.
Posts, concrete barricades.
Yes, sir. Yeah, concrete barriers across there, enough room. Sure.
I mean, we can bring one up on the thing, but look at it. You sure it shouldn't be on this way where we can enter into it instead of walking all the way across the road?
Well, see, I figure you still come in from this side here.
I know, but I mean, if we were on that side, we just come in to the, behind our
Yes.
deal.
That keeps you separate from it.
Figure out a way to reverse that.
Okay.
But, I mean,
Yeah, but that's a good idea. It
This-
gives you more room, it gets you a little.
yeah, this
straight
room
line.
is not a
Good
good
deal.
room, it's really not, so. Maybe we could incorporate taking out this wall, which looks like it's been added.
Flatten it back a little bit.
I mean, that's additional space you can fix it.
That's why I want to talk about before I left.
Okay, well,
We take this piece shape and outside, it in court,
yeah,
put the
right.
judge right in the corner and have us one down, have one
Yeah.
corner in this wall. We can still exit out there, go where y'all think.
Be good. Okay, so, well, I'm sure we're gonna have to get the city of Kaufman probably to, bless this for some sort of drawing, some
Yes.
sort of official drawing, but it's, for purposes right now, we're going for a grant, you know, go ahead and submit. I think we've got the space that obviously can be added fairly easily.
If we need a permit, we might need to get it before we have the
Sign
lease.
the deal.
Too bad we didn't have that.
Hey, we'll take care of that.
Tie that into the agenda item.
You know, if we did change all these lights.
All right, need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
All right, we have Mr. Phillips, Mr. Allen, all in favor say aye. Those opposed, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Melvin.
I noticed the light, we had comments about it.
I've been blinded on, we can't have to wear my shade, but I don't like it, purchase color difference.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna change